स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। Mahimacharya recited, O Brahman, my child, cease from practicing further penances. Hasten to Shankara, the ocean of heavenly wisdom. Obtain from him the divine love of God, the pure love praised by devotees, which snaps in twain the shackles that bind you to the world. After singing this, we saw the meaning in the last class. Master. Yes, Shankara will bestow the love of God. Shankara will, because Shankara, we saw the meanings of Shiva, Shankara and all this. Rudra means what? Ashutyosha. So Shankara, who is just bringing up auspiciousness. Shankara, Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha. Sham is auspiciousness and a prosperity in the spiritual sense. Whatever makes you evolve to the ultimate manifestation of the inner divinity. In everyone there is animalhood, humanhood and divinehood. The animalhood has to be destroyed, humanhood has to be transcended, and the divinehood is to be manifested. I must become divine through and through. My mind must be divine, my thoughts must be divine, my heart must be divine, my feelings must be divine, my actions must be divine. Whatever I am, whatever I do, whatever I feel, whatever I act, everything must be divine. No humanness also, far above the humans do the divine exist. So in divine there is all-pervadingness. In animalhood it is extremely shrinked to bodily level. It expands to the global level in human level. It expands to the cosmic level in divinehood. When we are in divinehood, when we manifest our divinity, we are one with the whole universe. But when we are one with the body, we come down. When we are one with the glow of all human beings, all beings, then we are humans. I am extending myself as if all this whole world is mine. The universal identity, whole cosmic level, I am at global level, I am at individual level. How small we become. I, my family, my earnings, I must not lose my job, I must not lose this. So from here to the cosmic level expansion, animalhood, humanhood, divinehood, limitless. So we expand, so we contract. So here the Shiva is one makes you, the thought of Shiva. Shiva is Atma Krida, Atma Riddhi. He is ever immersed in the absolute existence. He is in the ocean of bliss as bliss. For us, the formula is given, Devo Bhutva Devam Yajit. Become divine to worship the divine. Like that, being bliss, be immersed in bliss, float about, play in bliss, being yourself bliss. It is like a ice ball floating and moving about in ocean. Ocean is water. This ice block is also water. So then it is like that. Shiva is always Shiva himself. Shiva means the auspicious. What is immersed in his own glory and bliss. Shiva Swarupa. So here we see he is, I am contemplating Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai. I meditate on that Tat Savitu, that sunshine. What is that sunshine? That sunshine, when we say, it is beyond all this. This is not this sunshine. That means we refer to the absolute in which the universe appears and disappears with all beings. So that the universe is called this, Tat and Idam. Tat Savituhu, in which the universes appear, and that Savitra, which doesn't need a torch to see. He is Savitra, self-luminous. He is not only self-luminous, he illumines the whole world. We all are able to see each other, we are able to understand each other, cognize, everything is possible because he is pervading all of us and this world. World is able to project itself and we are able to perceive it. So that light, Tat Savitru Varenyam, I am meditating on that. How can I be this matter body? When I asleep itself, it separates. What about when I am in the Samadhi sthiti? What will I be? Just sleep is going down from the bodily existence. It is expansion from the bodily existence to infinity. So, Tat Savitu, same, I meditate on Shiva. I call upon Shiva. I am thinking of Shiva. What happens to you then? The moment you utter Shiva, the world must love. As it is must manifest, because the absolute, the Shiva, the absolute existence is nothing but bliss, peace, love, absolute. Bliss, peace, love, absolute. Bliss, absolute. Absolute means there is nothing else to compare it or a part of it. It is Purna, nothing lacking. And except it, nothing else. Bliss means there is no other bliss other than this. Then it's absolute. Bliss absolute, peace absolute, and love absolute. When love absolute comes into picture, you are meditating on Shiva means the love is springing from within. Truly, if you understand the Shiva concept and see, just contemplate on Shiva, the love simply springs up in joy and peace. In joy and peace, the love flows out. Love is manifestation of the Atman. Atman projecting out these. So it projects. So love flows. Shiva is going to give how the small world of Sri Ramakrishna you see. Yes, Shankara will bestow love of God. Mahima, one who is free from bondage, he is eternal Shiva. Mahima is telling, one who is free from bondage, he is eternal Shiva. Here, actually, this is Sri Ramakrishna usually used to tell this expression, Baddh hole jeev, mukt hole shiv. If a person is bound, Baddh hole, if he becomes Baddha. If a person is Baddha, he is Jiva. If he is Mukta, he is Shiva. बद्ध होले जीव, मुक्त होले शिव. So that Shiva is bringing that Sri Ramakrishna's words in one who is free from bondage is eternal Shiva. When we say any person, if he is free from all bondages forever, he is Shiva. It is called Shiva Sthiti, Shiva Avastha. Avastha is a state of my existence. I pass through many states. Commonly I pass through waking, dreaming and deep sleep. Jagrat, Swapna, Shushiti I am passing through. These are avastha, different states. In higher states, Shiva Swarupa. I am meditating on Shiva and lose my identity as human being with this bodily existence, which I project or which I attain or which I, the superimposition, I identify with this body only in waking state. The moment I sleep, I don't have this body at all. When I enter into samadhi, it will never be there. So that state in which the Shiva is contemplated, he becomes one with it. He becomes the bliss himself. He becomes the peace himself. He becomes the love itself. Bliss, peace, love, absolute. When he becomes that, the state wherein except God nothing exists, and that God is all-pervading, eternal being. In that state, it is called Shiva Sthiti. Shiva Sthiti. It is mukta. Once a person attains Shiva Sthiti, he is beyond the nature. He is in eternal life, in the eternal existence of bliss, peace, love, absolute. So that one who is free from bondage is eternal Shiva. Eternal Shiva means no more bondages any time. Master, shame, hatred, fear and hesitation, these are the shackles. What do you say to Mahimacharya? Sri Ramakrishna is asking. These are the ways. There are various ways of teaching. One is to read certain things and teach them, explain to them. And that may or may not be my idea or ideal in which I am interested or living. Now, I want to explain to someone about Shaivism or Shaktism, but I am Vaishnava myself. I can read and explain to them their own texts. I am teaching them. I can teach a student or anyone through songs. So many beautiful songs on life, on morality, on renunciation, on thought of God, identity with God. So many songs. Every song, Tyaga, Bhakti, Stotras, all this, teach them in their own language. Then they will be imbibing the spirit, imbibing the meaning, and slowly getting identified from within. This is tell stories. So many children and all. In earlier days of our childhood days, there was neither TV nor cell phone. Nothing was there. Then you see how it will be. And the only thing they have access to know is people to people. We will be watching for the wise people to whom we can go. Particular things. Suppose I want mathematics. Who can teach me mathematics? I want geography. I want history. These are. I want about life. Where to go? One who has lived a life, a holy life, We watch him. So many people will be coming across, and we see some person are living holy life. Early morning they get up, they take bath in the river or near the well, and then they move about, taking the name of God. They sit and meditate, they do worship, they do Sandhya Vandana, they go and serve the people, they do the work in the field, they will go and do whatever whoever wants. They pour love upon this society and nature. So all this, when we say, oh, he can teach me about life. When it comes to spiritual world, what is the authority? Who is there to teach us? The spiritual truths which belong to the transcendental realm. We have only sources, enlightened souls, advanced sadhakas, and scriptures. These we adopt. The constant flow of knowledge is eternally going on. The source we call Shiva, because that is the state in which the whole thing is realized by the individual, and that is the source in which an individual identity has become the universal identity. Whole creation he identifies, states beyond the Kriya-Srishti, being one with the Absolute and pouring that knowledge from the Absolute into the relative existence. That aspect we call the Dakshinamurti. The Shiva is one of the aspects of Shiva where knowledge is alone flowing. Just like sun radiates heat and light, they radiate the knowledge. Shiva radiates the knowledge. It's a flow. It's a flow like Ganga. So the shame, hatred, fear, hesitation are the shackles. What do you say? Sri Ramakrishna is teaching, asking him a question. Now, the moment in whom I love, whom I revere more, whom I adore, if he says anything to me, I deeply take it beyond my mind, beyond my intellect. My heart takes it. And while searching, the search is totally focused in such a way because his love covers me, his concern covers me, and I don't take that as he's trying to teach me, no. It's a love transaction. He is asking, he is telling, and is not that so? What do you say? Shame, hatred, fear, hesitation are the shackles. What do you say? What do you say here? Something. It is a beautiful expression. What do you say? I want to go somewhere. I want to go Kailas Manasarovar. What do you say? What do you say means he will immediately say, you have to go. You are fit to go. You have all qualified. I want to join some high course. Yes, you are fit for that. In the question, what do you say? He is pouring out the confidence and it is true. He is giving the truth. What do you say means, I am giving you truth. Some truth. Here, what you say is not a question. That it is truth presenting. These are the shackles. What do you say? He imbibes it. So this is the highest way of teaching the transcendental understanding of spiritual existence. We go round about nicely in building up for still lower class. These are high class receptives. They can receive, they can grasp. Receptivity, very high receptivity, and knowledge also required to receive that. But there are very lower people who are innocent, not but pure divine. They don't use intellect for understanding. They like simple way of expression. Thakur's expressions are almost most simplest and common things. How a person must live in the world. We use so many things to say. It's like a maid servant who works in the house of him, who's a master, and loving them, children, this, they're doing all the activities. And my Rama, my Krishna, he'll be telling for the children of the master and doing all things with a smiling face. But she knows in the heart of heart, nobody is here, nothing is mine here. She takes care of the house, every bit of the house, everything she is doing. But in the heart of heart, she knows nothing belongs to me. Nobody is mine here. My people are there, far off. So that understanding is there. So how it gets associated, you see. So Sri Ramakrishna is telling, shame, hatred, lajja, ghrina, bhoy, teen thakte nai, are shackles. Mahimacha, yes sir. And also desire to conceal and shrinking before praise. This should not be there. Master, there are two signs of knowledge. First, an unshakable buddhi, firm intellect. Intellect, buddhi and intellect are almost same. But when we use the term buddhi, it has something beyond intellect. Intellect is something which can penetrate and find out analyze, find out the secrets within everything. But it is only that intellectual aspect. Buddhi is something little different, in which it's a intellect associated with the other human beings as human beings, animals as animals, plant as plant. Because life manifestation differs. I use buddhi not only to, in Western concept, when we use the intellect, it is exclusively, it is at the physical, gross physical level of material world. I can invent so many things in my life. He is intellectual. He can explain so many things. How an eclipse takes place, this, that, anything you want, how a plant comes into existence. All this he can explain. We call him intellectual. But when we use the similar word in Sanskrit, in Indian language, when you use buddhi, it is associated always with your another part of existence, to see life and needs. And what is nature's participation? Now, I am speaking to a person. How should I respect a person? How should I welcome? How should I please him? How not to contradict? How to give the truth? All these things will be in a part of the intellect which is associated with the individual feelings, how they are developing. So we see the intellect and buddhi as different shades, but same source, same base. Because we don't have a kind of wisdom, wisdom also becomes something limited. It takes more of utility part. How shall I utilize? How shall I utilize wisdom? But in buddhi, when we use a term, it is universal. Means as if I am dissolving my ego a little. Ego is the content of buddhi. Buddhi and ego go together always. Mind and memory go together always. Ahankara and buddhi are companions. Mind and memory are companions. So this ego is there, but it is ripe one. The more it is ripe, we call him Buddhiman, possessor of buddhi. Intellectual, in the Indian context, it takes a little different shape. So, there are two signs of knowledge. One is unshakable buddhi. That buddhi is firm and clear. Whatever he does is tallies with the nature's plan. One towards evolution, one towards the self-protection, another is offering services to the world. Always we must think, before I leave this body, what all am I offering to this world and going? This is an important part of our life. How shall I live? What shall I do? What maximum I can give to this world? May I live an exemplary life. So that part becomes most important. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.